The judge greets everyone with a warm smile and sets the stage for what promises to be a roller coaster paternity dispute involving Kayla Brown, who was being contacted out of the blue by someone she initially thought was her sister via Instagram, which soon escalated to a Facebook message from Mr. Hampton, who dropped the bombshell claim of being her biological father. She's as confused and bewildered as a cat at a dog show about the unexpected contact. Brace yourselves. This story takes a wild turn.
I was adopted when I was 3 months old, so I have no idea who my extended family is or my biological mother.
Cue the dramatic entrance of Mr. Hampton. Mr. Hampton strides into the courtroom with the confidence of a man on a mission, ready to share his side of the story. He explains that he has been on a 20-year quest to find Kayla, his alleged daughter, involving a tale of lost love and missed connections that could make Nicholas Sparks blush. He reminisces about his past relationship with Kayla's mother and his presence at Kayla's birth, adding layers to this family saga. Things are about to get even more intense. Seen it all, a major twist rocks the courtroom as Kayla's adoptive mother, Alicia, steps in with a bombshell. She recognizes a picture presented by Mr. Hampton. This stirs a pot of confusion about the past and the real identity of Kayla's biological father, turning the courtroom into a hive of whispered theories and gasps. Hold on, it's about to get bumpier.
I took this child several different times, at least for sure 3 times, if not 4 times, in for blood tests. Draw blood from her.
Mr. Hampton pulls out the big guns with his documents. He provides what he claims is ironclad documentation that he was paying child support, arguing that the state of Alaska recognized him as Kayla's father. This throws another curveball into the proceedings, leading to further scrutiny and a collective scratching of heads over the legitimacy of these documents. You think that was something? Wait for the DNA results.
Well, then they must have proved that I was.
Judge Lake opens up with the drama of the century, Powell versus Tarver. Jerome gets a shout out for his impeccable court etiquette, and the courtroom buzzes with greetings. Here, the sticky issue is paternity involving 19-month-old Joshawn, and everyone's ready for the show.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Poe versus Tarver.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Poe, you've petitioned the court for a paternity test to prove to Mr. Tarver that he is your 19-month-old son, Joshawn's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Tarver, you say your defense in court is simple. You are not Joshawn's father.
Right off the bat, Miss Powell drops a bombshell, claiming Mr. Tarver is the deadbeat dad of her son and hasn't done squat for support. Mr. Tarver, with all the calm of a hurricane, denies being the father and declares he's ready to prove it today. The courtroom's already heating up, and we're just getting started.
He's done nothing for this little boy, nothing at all?
No, Your Honor, he ain't did nothing. He ain't bought him a diaper, he ain't bought him a shoe, he ain't bought him a shirt. He don't do anything for my son. He call him once in a while, that's it.
Once in
That's
a while.
not
I don't call him every day. I don't see him at least 3-4 times a week.
That's not being a father, Your
I don't call
Honor.
him every day.
No, you don't.
Miss Powell isn't holding back. She accuses Mr. Tarver of ignoring their son, not even springing for diapers or a cute little shirt. Mr. Tarver laughs it off, which only adds fuel to the fire, making the atmosphere as charged as a lightning bolt. Just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, it does.
Every time he asks, I let him see my son. If I have to go all the way to him, I take him to my son, because I don't want my son without a father.
You say he's denying.
Absolutely. He's denying my son.
Not just denying him time and attention, but denying him, saying he's not his child.
Yes, Your Honor.
In a plot twist, Mr. Tarver suggests maybe he's not the only possible dad on the block, hinting at Miss Powell's not-so-exclusive dating habits. He recounts tales of suspicious late nights and questionable partying, trying to add a layer of doubt about his paternity. The courtroom's tangled like a daytime soap opera, and we're all here for it.
So when you didn't leave me and go lay with somebody else?
No, I didn't.
The night that you told me you were 5 blocks away, it took you 3 hours to pull up.
Where Mr. Tarver
5 blocks
was.
away, it took you 3 hours to pull up with 3 dudes in the car?
Girl was
5 blocks
there.
away, it take 3 hours to pull up with 3 dudes in the car?
There was another girl. He said he wanted to go to sleep.
There was no
he
other
fell
girl there.
asleep
And did you not leave and go back and lay with him?
Absolutely, I left, but I did not go leave and lay with another man.
The plot thickens as Mr. Tarver calls out the timeline of the pregnancy, suggesting Miss Powell played a bit fast and loose with the dates. Miss Powell defends her timeline with tales of doctor's visits and tests, but her story has some holes. Buckle up, the judge is about to dive deep into this mystery.
When she first got pregnant, she came and told me she was 2 months pregnant. And time went on, about 2-3 months had passed, and she come back and tell me she's 2 months pregnant.
Lying,
again.
Your Honor.
You didn't come back. You didn't come back when you was supposed to be 4 months.
I went to the doctor. I went to Planned Parenthood, the clinic, and I got a pee test done. And the lady asked me when was my last menstrual cycle. I gave her a date, and she went off the date based
so it's 2 months off?
When I told. Please.
2 months
please.
Things get real as Mr. Tarver admits he's got doubts, despite having gone as far far as naming the kid, he details the rocky nature of their fling, leaving us wondering if he's the dad or just a footnote in Miss Powell's love diary. Hold on to your hats. This roller coaster's just hit a loop.
She tell me she needs to go to the doctor, so I tell her I'll go with her. We go to the doctor. We get to the doctor say they closed and they moved. They've been gone for a minute. She's telling me, even though they said they've been gone 3 months, she was in this doctor 2 weeks ago. She said she was there 2 weeks ago. When we get to the doctor, there's a sign on the door saying they moved to another address 3 months ago. 3 months ago. 3 months ago.
Just when you think you've seen it all, in walks Mr. Tarver's current fiancée, Ms. Jones, turning the courtroom into a reality TV episode. She backs up Mr. Tarver's claim of a crowded daddy field, stirring up even more drama. Get your popcorn ready. Ms. Jones is about to spill some serious tea.
Let's be respectful. So, ma'am, what do you know about this situation?
To be honest, they say that it's multiple people was claiming her baby at the time.
You don't even know me.
Be quiet. I'm talking.
You don't even know me.
let's
So
get
how you
control.
gonna say anything?
Let's
Girl, I
get
heard many things
control.
about you too.
Let's
from
get
him.
control.
They're saying there's multiple people claiming her baby, which he also told me the same thing.
Multiple people
Yes, and I
are
never
saying
even
that
knew her.
her child is theirs.
Yes.
Mr. Tarver whips out social media posts suggesting Miss Powell was practically campaigning to get pregnant. Miss Powell argues it's all a big misunderstanding. The evidence has everyone whispering. Fasten your seatbelts, folks. The judge is about to drop the gavel on this social media circus.
And I got evidence, Your Honor, that she was dying to get pregnant.
Boy,
Let me see this evidence, Jerome.
Was this not on your? Did
Yes,
somebody
that
not
was
tell
on
you?
my
Over to your
Facebook.
podium,
That
Mr.
was on
Tarver.
my Facebook.
Finally, blank was dying to get pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor, that was my homegirl. She ain't on my status. She commented on my
It's a
status.
joke.
She was not the only person that commented on the status saying about me getting
And
pregnant.
not the only one that said you was dying to get pregnant.
Nobody wasn't dying to get pregnant by
Either.
you.
You could cut the tension with a knife as the DNA results are finally revealed. Mr. Tarver is indeed the father of little Joe Sean, sending shockwaves through the courtroom. But don't go anywhere yet. There's another paternity plot twist on the horizon.
You are Joe Sean's father.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's what I wanted
Thank
to know.
you.
That's what I wanted
Thank
as well.
you.
You know what? Now you all just yelling because you just like to hear yourself talk. Because you're not saying anything. It's your child. You know now. You said you already been stepping up. Step up even further.
Yes, Your Honor.
As if one paternity drama wasn't enough, enter stage left. A second case with Mr. Tarver and Ms. Jones concerning yet another child. This saga just turned into a double feature, complete with past exes and lingering doubts. The next chapter promises even more jaw-dropping revelations.
Ms. Jones, Mr. Tarver, you did in fact submit to DNA testing. Am I correct? You all are engaged.
Yes, Your Honor.
So there's a lot at stake here.
Yes, Your Honor.
I think it's time for the results. Jerome, these results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Tarver versus Jones, pertaining to 1-year-old Rory Tarver,
As the DNA drama unfolds,
it has been determined by this court, Mr. Tarver, you are Rory's father.
So you feel special?
And now,
the courtroom drama kicks off with a splash. The court session begins with the clerk announcing the case of Rayford versus Freeman. The judge greets the courtroom, and everyone responds with a cheery, "Good day." Get ready for a roller coaster of emotions.
Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Rayford versus Freeman.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Rayford, you say Mr. Freeman's inability to be honest has landed you smack in the middle of a love triangle that produced your 8-month-old son, Terry.
Things are heating up right from the get-go. Ms. Rayford accuses Mr. Freeman of dishonesty and claims he is the father of her 8-month-old son, Terry, whom he denies. The judge recaps that Mr. Freeman exited the relationship abruptly to return to his fiancée and began denying the baby. Strap in. The drama's just revving up.
You say that after begging you to have his child, Mr. Freeman abruptly left your relationship, returned to his fiancée, and started denying your baby. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Freeman, you say Ms. Rayford was nothing more than a fling who is now obsessed with you and your fiancée, Ms. Triplett.
Accusations are flying left and right. Mr. Freeman claims that Ms. Rayford was just a fling and insists that due to her relationships with other men, there's no way he could be the father of her child. He believes Ms. Rayford is obsessed with him and his fiancée, Ms. Triplett. Just when you think it can't get more intense, it does.
You claim that during your brief time with Ms. Rayford, she was sleeping with multiple men and there is no you are her son's father. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Terry is 8 months old. What has Mr. Freeman done for him?
Mr. Freeman hasn't done nothing. He has been a deadbeat.
Ms. Rayford pulls no punches, calling Mr. Freeman a deadbeat who has done nothing for Terry since his birth. She vents her frustration, prompting an outcry from the audience. Oh, and it's about to get even juicier.
Ever since he got with this Miss Triplett.
Hold on, first of all, Ladies, ladies. All right, I'm awake now. That erupted from 0 to 100 in less than 1 second. Wow. Let's bring it down a notch.
The courtroom turns into a verbal battlefield. The situation heats up with exchanges between Ms. Rayford and Ms. Triplett, leading the judge to step in and cool down the flare-ups. The judge emphasizes the need for clarity on the fatherhood of Terry. Hold on to your hats. This ride's not over yet.
This is his son, so he can step up and be the man he needs to be for his first child. You need to grow up and be a man.
Hold on.
Don't let this woman dictate to you about
Hold on.
Just be there for your son. You like to clown, your son will love it. He loves to laugh and play. Play with him and not me. It's not an issue of paternity, issue of him being responsible.
Tensions escalate as Mr. Freeman tries to defend his actions. He claims he tried to be involved and even brought items for Terry, but Ms. Rayford refused them. The judge digs deeper into these claims, revealing a tangled web of truths and lies. And guess what? There's more where that came from.
I want to hear from Mr. Freeman because Ms. Rayford has made some very strong accusations. Is this because you do not believe Terry is your biological son?
I don't believe he's my son. I tried multiple times to come to Trina's house and deliver stuff. I brought things for the child, you know what I'm saying? And she's neglecting me, told me, I don't need your stuff.
Yes, Your Honor.
The plot thickens as the relationship timeline gets dissected. The discussion reveals a complex web involving Ms. Rayford, Mr. Freeman, and Ms. Triplett, with overlapping intimate relationships complicating the paternity question even further. You'll need popcorn for what's coming up next.
I know you wish you was.
Ms. Rayford,
ain't no way I would, you nasty tramp.
Ms. Rayford, hold on.
Her mom is not here.
Listen. You all are making fools of yourselves. This is absolutely ridiculous. Mr. Freeman, why are you here?
I'm here today to prove that I'm not Trina's baby daddy. Me and Trina was together. It was only just a fling. Trina was still having sex with multiple guys.
He believes you were still having sex with other people. Is that true?
No, it's not true.
More backstory unearths more drama. The judge explores the history of the relationships and pregnancies involved. Ms. Rayford insists she was already pregnant when she left for California, a claim disputed by Mr. Freeman and Ms. Triplett. The truth is about to make a grand entrance.
Mr. Freeman, you were going back and forth between these two women all this time. No wonder you so quiet. But now we know you all both got everything to do with it.
I was gone to California. He was back fraternizing with her, gambling, hoarding, being irresponsible.
Did you go out with anybody, date anybody,
No,
or sleep
I'm
with
pregnant. My man was supposed to be in Memphis. We were living together.
Secrets start spilling out. The judge presses Mr. Freeman about his relationships and sexual activities around the conception window. Mr. Freeman admits to encounters with both women during the relevant times, but insists they were protected. Wait until you see the next bomb drop.
We probably had sex a couple of times, but I always use a condom.
You couldn't afford no condom.
So, wait a minute. Were you also still with Miss Triplett at this time?
Yes.
Wow.
All right. So now you are admitting you were basically having sex with Miss Triplett and with Miss Rayford at the same time.
It was only just a fling.
Well, look,
You say
flings,
that now.
listen. Flings produce babies. If you don't know that, now you know.
The moment of truth arrives with a bang. DNA results are finally revealed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
you
Are not. Keep hope alive. But you wrong today.
you are the father.
No! More years of this woman. See, I'm wrong. We can't.
The court session kicks off with formal introductions, setting the stage for a dramatic showdown in the courtroom. The session begins with formal greetings and introductions in the courtroom, quickly setting the stage for a paternity dispute involving emotional and financial stakes. Strap in, because this drama is just getting warmed up.
This is the case of Tucker versus Mosley.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Miss Tucker.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're here today for your son, 1-year-old Keandre Tucker.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you say you're unsure whether a man you've been in a sexual relationship with or the defendant's deceased son is his biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
As Cleo Tucker steps up, you can cut the tension with a knife. She explains her relationship with Eric and her reasons for believing he is the father of her child, supported by dates and details of their encounters. She brings out a calendar, meticulously marked to demonstrate the frequency of their relationship during the conception period. Hold on to your hats. This calendar is about to become Exhibit A.
Now, Ms. Mosley, you tragically lost your son, Eric, a little over a year ago.
Yes,
I'm
Your
so
Honor.
sorry. Now you say you barely had time to grieve, and Miss Tucker is coming after you for money.
Yes, Your Honor.
Furthermore, you claim she's not the first woman to try to pin paternity on your son, and you have proof he did not father little Keandre.
Tucker presents her calendar like a treasure map. roadmap, pointing to dates that could lead to a paternity jackpot. She highlights the key dates of her interactions with Eric, aiming to establish a timeline that supports her claim of paternity. This visual evidence serves as a critical element in her argument, emphasizing the specific period she believes led to her pregnancy. You won't believe what comes next.
Well, from the time that me and Mr. Andrews was together, it wasn't on no relationship type, it was just that we was just messing around. When I met him, I did have a boyfriend, so you know I was sleeping with two people at the same time, but it was more frequent with Mr. Andrews. And when I met him, I remember the exact date as if it was yesterday. I met him February. It was on my best friend's birthday. I actually have a calendar that I can actually show you too as well.
Mosley shares her grief and disbelief with such passion you'd think she was auditioning for a soap opera. She explains her close relationship with her son and how she was never informed of Tucker, raising doubts about Tucker's claims. She emphasizes the lack of communication from her son about Tucker, which fuels her skepticism and need for DNA proof. Grab your popcorn. The plot is about to thicken.
So, Miss Mosley, did he tell you anything?
Your Honor, my son told me nothing. I found out of Miss Cleo Tucker's pregnancy through his friend. His friends called me Auntie Vonda. And he said, Auntie Vonda, you know Cleo is about to give birth to Eric's child. And I was like, who is Cleo Tucker?
The courtroom is all ears as Mosley describes a tell-all conversation with her son about Tucker. She recounts a conversation with her incarcerated son about Tucker, revealing his characterizations of Tucker's lifestyle, which he believed cast doubt on her claims. This moment highlights the complex dynamics and perceptions that can influence personal judgments and the pursuit of truth in paternity cases. Just wait until you hear what's coming up.
He was incarcerated at the time, and we spoke every day. On this particular day that I found out, when he called, I got on him. I was like, Eric, what's going on? Are you about to have another child? And he said, Mom, she is wild. She's a stripper. She performs private parties.
Tucker and Mosley dive into the financial nitty-gritty with the intensity of a primetime game show. They discuss financial responsibilities and the burden of proof, leading to a heated exchange about motives and the impact of Eric's death on the family dynamic and financial claims. Tucker lays out a detailed list of child-rearing expenses, seeking financial support from Mosley. This financial face-off is about to get even more intense.
Finding pictures like these of my son and her son, and I'm not even sure if he is his son.
Let me see that. Jerome, will you hand me that evidence, please?
And she's not the first one to come forth that her child is my son's. There was another girl that claimed that her son was his. We had the DNA and found out he was not his.
Everyone holds their breath as Judge Lake prepares to deliver the DNA test results, turning the courtroom into a high-stakes reveal party.
It has been determined that Mr. Andrew is the biological father.
That's all I wanted to know.
You look happy.
I am. I still have a piece of him.
And here we go, folks. The courtroom is buzzing as we dive into the drama of Murray versus Gerald Donaldson. Our man Jerome, the trusty bailiff, kicks things off with the tale of baby Anaya's mystery daddy. It's about to get spicy, so don't wander off.
Ms. Harris, you have been caught in a love triangle. There are two men in court today claiming to have fathered your 18-month-old daughter, Anaya. Your current boyfriend, the plaintiff, Mr. Murray, and the defendant, your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Donaldson. They are both in court today to prove paternity.
Boom! Ms. Harris spills the tea on her bumpy ride with Mr. Donaldson. She paints him as the guy who was all doubts from day one, pretty much leaving her to deal with the baby bumps alone. But wait for it, because she's just getting warmed up.
From my understanding, we was dating, but then when I got pregnant, he told me he had feelings for another girl. He told me that he didn't want to be with me, so I was basically alone during my pregnancy. He was there during the baby shower, and he came to the hospital with his mom.
Here comes Mr. Donaldson, throwing shade all over the place. He thinks Ms. Harris was trying to tie him down with a baby story, right as he had his eyes on someone else. Ooh, it's getting hot in here.
You tell him you're pregnant. And he accepts that you're pregnant and it's my baby.
Well, he didn't believe I was pregnant.
You didn't believe she was pregnant, Mr. Donaldson?
Not at the beginning.
Why'd you feel like she was lying?
She was trying to ruin the relationship that I had.
Oh, you feel like she was trying to hang on to you by claiming that she was pregnant because you told her you were in love with somebody else.
Hang on tight. Mr. Donaldson is riding the baby decision roller coaster like it's his job. Ms. Harris spills the beans on how it took a belly you couldn't miss for him to finally get the hint. Keep your eyes peeled, because this baby daddy saga is twisting and turning like a pretzel.
And so you say at some point he did accept that the baby was his?
He had to when when he seen that my belly was big.
Oh, because you saying at first he didn't even believe it, so then when your stomach started growing.
No, he brought me a pregnancy test.
Oh, he did? All right. So you brought her a pregnancy test and said, prove it.
Yeah. By that time, it was too late. She was like big. I hadn't seen her in so long.
Just when you thought it was all about the parents, in swoops Mr. Donaldson's mom, totally clueless about possibly being a grandma. Imagine showing up to a family gathering and finding out you might be getting a grandkid. Could dinner get any more awkward?
And your family has accepted the baby?
Yes, but when all of this started, we just backed away from the whole situation because it was getting a little messy.
At what point do you start having doubt?
The thing that really changed my mind is when my mother went to pick the baby up and saw Fred.
Mr. Murray, why do you believe you could be the biological father of this child?
One day I was on Facebook and I got a message and he told me that the baby could possibly be mine.
Enter Mr. Murray, suddenly smack in the spotlight as possibly Anaya's real dad. Thanks to a sneaky tip-off from Mr. Donaldson, he's now rethinking his entire life. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Stay tuned because this suspense is just too good to miss.
So you did sleep with Mr. Murray?
Yes.
While you were in the relationship with Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Let me try to understand all this. Mr. Murray, what do you remember? She was in a relationship with Mr. Donaldson at the time. But you all ended up having a sexual encounter during that time?
Yes.
But you say you used protection. You say you did not. Okay, that's how we get a paternity issue.
Switch gears to detective mode. The courtroom's now a crime scene for love as everyone tries to piece together dates and flirty texts to nail down when exactly Anaya made her grand entrance plan. It's a tangled web of who kissed whom and when. Don't blink or you'll miss a clue.
Do you remember when you were intimate with Mr. Donaldson?
The beginning of January, beginning of February, and the end of February, and then stopped.
So the beginning of January, around here, the beginning of February with Mr. Donaldson? You said the end of February too?
Yes, I did.
All right, so the end of February.
Now, prepare for a serious heart tug. Through all the chaos, Mr. Murray proves he's not just any guy. He's stepped up as a father figure for Anaya, showing her the ropes and being there, no matter the gossip. The emotional meter's about to explode. Grab your tissues. This one's going to hit you right in the feels.
Who's in her life as father? Who does she bond with as father?
Mr. Murray.
Mr. Murray.
She looks to him like he's her father because he's been there ever since she was 3 months.
And so what was it that made you decide to be a part of the baby's life, Mr. Murray?
At that point in time, she was in like a down position, so I just took her in. I take care of both of you.
And now, the moment of truth. The judge is ready to drop those DNA results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Murray, you are not the father. That's okay. That's still your baby.
The courtroom buzzes with anticipation as Judge Lake calls the session to order. The case of Webster versus Ware kicks off with some serious courtroom drama vibes. Judge Lake greets everyone, and Ron, the court clerk, is thanked for his help. The atmosphere is formal, but you can cut the tension with a knife as the session gets underway. Everyone's on the edge of their seats, ready for the courtroom action to unfold.
This is the case of Webster v. Ware.
Thank you, Ron. Good day, everyone. Ms. Webster, you recently learned shocking news that Myron Smith, the man you believe to be your dad and who paid child support for you, may not be your biological father. Now you've dragged the defendant, Mr. Ware, to paternity court to prove that he is your father.
Ms. Webster throws down the gauntlet, ready to stir up some family secrets. She's dragged Mr. Ware to court to prove he's her dad. She's betting all her chips that today's DNA results will back her up. The tension in the courtroom climbs as the stakes of the DNA test are spelled out. Buckle up, because this emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
Mr. Ware, you admit that you had a relationship with Ms. Webster's mother around the time of conception, but say for the past 40 years you were told Mr. Smith was her father. So Ms. Webster, tell me why you now believe Mr. Ware is your father.
Your Honor, I worked in a beauty salon with some of his relatives, and they always kind of had something against me.
Just when you think you've seen it all, a cousin throws in a curveball about chuckles. They suggest Ms. Webster shares a chuckle so unique with Mr. Ware that it could be a genetic giveaway. This lighthearted evidence adds a personal touch to the proceedings, blending humor with the family drama. The chuckle comparison unexpectedly becomes a key piece of the puzzle in this familial mystery. Let's see how this laughable evidence plays out.
You chuckle like him. She said if I close my eyes and you both chuckle, you wouldn't know the difference.
Really?
I had a baby book for a long time, and I never really started putting things together until the blood type wasn't the same. And I'm looking in the baby book, relatives of Mr. Ware's family that signed in when I was born, they bought gifts. There was an address.
Really?
Mr. Ware steps up with a story that throws a wrench into the works. He shares his version of the relationship timeline with with Ms. Webster's mother, explaining why he thinks he's not the dad. He details the geographical and timing challenges that make him doubt his paternity, introducing a dose of skepticism about the mother's story. Hold on to your hats, because this timeline tangle is about to get even more tangled.
Because at the time when her mom and I were dating, she was in between two cities, Louisville, Kentucky and Dayton, Ohio. She would spend months there and months here. When she became pregnant, she explained to me that she was and that it was another man's child.
Amidst the legal jargon, a spiritual twist turns the court into a scene straight out of a movie. A poignant moment unfolds as Ms. Webster recounts visiting Mr. Ware at his church, seeking divine signs about her paternity. This emotionally charged scene blends faith with her quest for truth, turning the courtroom into a backdrop for a spiritual revelation. The divine intervention moment will have you wondering what the heavens will reveal next.
We went to visit him at his church. I knew who he was, but he didn't know who I was. I just been praying, that I find out who my father is. There's things in my life, there's roadblocks and stumbles I've been going through. There's things goals I'm achieving, and knowing who my father is one of them. And I came to the Lord. I went to the altar. They had altar call, and I went up and I just prayed that God give me a sign to reveal. I'm praying and I'm nervous, but I just felt this energy. And when they asked for the prayer warriors to come out,
Mr. Smith brings in the big guns with his military alibi, challenging the conception timeline like a pro. He testifies about his service days and the timeline of his relationship with Ms. Webster's mother, reinforcing his belief that he isn't the biological father. His military precision brings a strategic element to the case, emphasizing the importance of timing in this paternity puzzle. Gear up, because the plot is about to thicken.
We're gonna go right up here to the witness stand.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Smith. As you know, we're here discussing the paternity as it relates to Miss Webster. You have been paying child support.
Yes, I have.
But you don't believe you're her biological father.
No, I don't. I can tell you why.
Hold the phone. Here comes the DNA result no one saw coming.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Ware, you are not her father.
The courtroom drama kicks off with a bang. The episode opens with greetings and the announcement of the case, Martin versus Pinner. The court is introduced to the participants, and the nature of the paternity dispute is briefly outlined. Everyone's on the edge of their seats already, and trust me, you'll want to buckle up for this ride.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Martin versus Pinner.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Martin, you admit to making a huge mistake around the time you conceived your daughter, Royal Blue.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim that one moment of weakness will cost you your fiance if you cannot prove today that he fathered your child.
The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. Ms. Martin explains that her relationship with Mr. Pinner is hanging by a thread due to doubts about the paternity of their daughter, Royal Blue. Mr. Pinner expresses his love for the child, but indicates he will leave if the DNA test is negative. The stakes are sky high, and this emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
Mr. Pinner, you say you love Royal Blue and want her to be yours, but you already have 1 foot outdoors and will leave Ms. Martin if today's paternity results are negative. Ms. Martin, talk to me about the status of your relationship right now. What's going on?
Just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, a massive misunderstanding is revealed where Mr. Pinner accuses Ms. Martin of only telling him about her infidelity after she discovered her pregnancy a month later, which Ms. Martin vehemently denies, claiming she told him the very next day. The plot thickens, and the next revelation will have you reeling.
After she found out that she was pregnant a month later, she said, well, I have something to tell you. I had sex with somebody, I had a party, and I woke up, I don't know if I had unprotected sex or not. And I don't really know. And I asked her, I said, who do you have sex with? Blank man? How do you not know who you slept with? That's just to me.
I told you it was drinking and everything
that's
involved.
Irresponsible. That's very irresponsible as a mother.
I did not tell you.
I
told you that very next day.
No, you did.
The plot thickens as they delve into the timing of the events. The judge asks about the timing of the sexual encounter in relation to the conception date of their child, Royal Blue. Both agree that the dates closely coincide, adding to Mr. Pinner's uncertainty about his paternity. Just when you think you've heard it all, the drama escalates even further.
And when you think of the window of conception, does this incident fall near that window?
Yes, ma'am.
I had sex for a 2 days after the fact that I told him that, and it all falls in about the same time.
How soon after that was Royal Blue born?
She was born June 19th of 2015. Conception day was about October the 15th. That's what the doctor had gave me, which I told him I've shared every information.
So if the doctor told you the conception date was October 15th, what date was the party? 13th, maybe?
Can you feel the courtroom buzzing? Judge Lake dives into the messy consequences of the tit-for-tat behavior between the couple, emphasizing how such actions lead to compounded mistakes and heightened resentment. Her words cut deep, and as the tension mounts, prepare for an explosive turn of events.
She moves to a different state, following behind you. When she gets there, you still out and about doing things. Then she get mad and get upset and decide, you know what, now I'm gonna try to go tit for tat. He out partying, he out hanging out, I'll start partying. We hear this too much. Now, thing I tell women all the time, we lose the tit for tat every time because you lose your senses and you do something stupid and you get pregnant. Yes, ma'am.
Everyone holds their breath for this one. The tension reaches a peak as both parties await the DNA results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Pinner, you are the father.
Oh, Lord.
Hold on to your hats because we're just getting started in the courtroom. The judge lays down the law with a "you may be seated," and bam, we're off. The Boomin versus Boomin showdown is on the agenda, and it promises to be nothing short of a circus. So fasten your seatbelts.
Ms. Bowman, you've dragged your daughter, Kalina, to court to save your relationship. You admit after years of deception and confusion, you now must prove to her that her actual biological father is Mr. James Stewart, who passed away 18 years ago. Ms. Kalina Bowman, you say your mother's paternity lies have jeopardized your relationship, and you don't believe her latest claim that Mr. Stewart is your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Angela kicks things off by spilling the beans on her love life saga. Picture this, a love triangle with Mr. Stewart and Mr. Watson, complete with heartbreaks, backstabs, and a baby mystery that could rival any daytime drama. The details are as twisted as a roller coaster. Can the court straighten this mess out? Stay tuned.
I used to be real close to her, and now it feels like I've literally tore it completely apart. I need to prove to her that her father is James Stewart.
You say over the years you've lied to her.
I've told her that another Mr. Watson was her father.
Explain.
It all started when she was little. When I first met Mr. Stewart, I met him at a company that I worked with, and we started working, became friends and everything, real close. We became sexual. It got to where I found out there was somebody else.
Up next, Kalina steps into the spotlight, getting real about how her mom's fibs have turned their relationship into a minefield. She's laying it all out there, and the vibe is tenser than a final exam. Brace yourselves, we're diving deeper into the drama.
It's been hard because the simple fact, I don't know when she's lying or telling the truth anymore.
And so she told you another man was your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you believed all these years Mr. Watson was your biological father. So when did you find out that he was not?
I found out during the summer going into high school that he was not my father.
Now, here comes James Stewart Jr. like a knight in shining armor, ready to defend his dad's honor. He's loaded with a timeline and facts that might just debunk Angela's story. Is he the family's Sherlock Holmes? Let's find out what he's got up his sleeve.
And then when I was able to go back around that day, she was like, oh, he might not be your father, and it's a possibility that James Stewart is your father. And I was confused because all these years you told me that Mr. Watson was my father. Then when we went to go take the test, when the test results finally came back and didn't know what to think, and I read the results even though she told me not to.
But Angela isn't backing down. She fires back, adamant that James Sr. was in the picture when Kalina was cooking in the oven. The air is thick with tension as her stories collide. Who's the daddy? The courtroom is itching for the truth.
You claimed in your testimony that you were working with Mr. Stewart's father at this place when Kalina was conceived. So your assertion, Mr. Stewart, is that doesn't add up.
Doesn't add up to me, really doesn't.
Because your father quit this job in 1994.
That's actually
Early
a lie
94.
because he actually stopped working at that restaurant in February of '95. He would come in, do his shift or whatever. Then there was times that he wouldn't come in because he was a manager. He had me, I was right up under him as an assistant manager.
Just when you think you've seen it all, Angela drops a bombshell. She faked a paternity test to keep Mr. Watson around. The crowd's jaws hit the floor. The drama meter is off the charts. What next? A twist in the DNA tale?
In Miss Watson's mailbox, Miss Bowman?
Yes, I did. I did it because at the time, Mr. Watson, when I got back in a relationship with him, we sat there, we talked and everything. It was all discussed out.
What do you mean it was discussed?
It was discussed that Kalina was his daughter.
So you just created this? This letter is just a lie?
Yes, ma'am.
She's saying in court today, ma'am, Miss Watson, that this is not an official letter. This is something that she just wrote and typed up.
It's D-Day and the courtroom DNA result day.
That James Stewart and Kalina Bowman are related.
The courtroom brims with suspense as Jerome rolls out the dramatic intro. This is the case of Brown versus Stewart. Jerome, the court officer, cues up the stage for a high-stakes paternity and custody battle involving Mr. Brown and Miss Stewart. You won't believe the twists and turns this case takes.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Brown versus Stewart.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Brown, just 2.5 months ago, it was revealed that your 18-month-old son, Colby, may not be your biological child, even though you currently have full custody.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown steps up, already looking like he's been through the emotional ringer. Mr. Brown, just 2.5 months ago, it was revealed that your 18-month-old son, Colby, may not be your biological child, despite you having full custody. Oh man, you can almost hear the collective gasp from the crowd. Grab your popcorn, this is getting good.
To prove that you are Colby's father, because you fear if you are not, you will lose him for good. Miss Stewart, you admit you kept the secret from Mr. Brown, but claim the truth is the truth. And the fact is, you were secretly cheating on him, and you appear in court today to prove that the other man is the father. So, Mr. Brown, tell us what's at stake for you today.
Things get even spicier as Miss Stewart stands her ground. She's 100% sure Mr. Brown isn't the father, talking big about her efforts to provide for Colby. I've been working my butt off every day. Hold on to your hats. Mr. Brown is about to throw a curveball.
My house is a more stable home for him. It's a place where he's taken care of, and I know it's the better thing for him.
So, Miss Stewart, you're saying that you know for certain that he's not Mr. Brown's biological child.
I'm 100% sure he's not the father.
And you understand what's at stake, though. You understand that Mr. Brown is saying he has a healthy, happy upbringing in his home.
I know he's with me and when he's gonna be happy and healthy.
Mr. Brown lays out his version of the breakup drama, painting a picture of custody chaos. Well, because after she moved out, she asked me if I wanted him for a couple of days while she was moving her things out. And then bam, he drops the bomb that he decided not to give Colby back. The audience is on the edge of their seats. What will happen next?
How did you even find this out?
Well, because after she moved out, asked me if I wanted him for a couple days, and I told her that I wasn't going to give him back at that point in time because I knew what my rights were. I knew that the living situations at my household she was at. I mean, I've got a 5-bedroom home where he's got his own playroom, he's got his own bedroom.
When did she say to you, but this is not your child?
Right then and there. But she waited almost 5 days before she brought the cops to my house.
Enter Miss Tesk, Mr. Brown's girlfriend, adding her 2 cents and stirring the pot. She's emotionally and financially invested in this whole mess, claiming he's the best father in the world to that little boy. Drama, drama, drama. Don't you just love it?
You first got the news from her and she dropped this bomb on you. Did you say, I want a DNA test?
Your Honor, I called DHS and talked to them, and they informed me that I needed to call Child Support Recovery, because that's who does the DNA test in the state that we live in. When I went down and filled out the paperwork, once they started running it, they informed me that I couldn't do the DNA test because Miss Stewart had already filed child support on me.
Miss Stewart denies ever asking for child support, deepening the mystery. No, Your Honor, she insists, baffling everyone about why the state might want Mr. Brown to pay up. Just when you think you figured it out, the story twists again.
Did you go down and file paperwork or sign anything requesting child support?
No, Your Honor, because I went down myself to see if I can get this DNA started. We couldn't do nothing because he has signed the paternity affidavit.
As you were going through the process, did you tell any government agency, this is the father? The father is Mr. Brown?
No.
The moment of truth arrives as Judge Lake reads the DNA test results.
Mr. Brown, you are not the father.
I told you. I told you. All right.
As the courtroom brims with anticipation, Jerome steps up with a clear voice to set the stage. The case of Brooks versus Page is announced. The bailiff, Jerome, with his usual flair, introduces the case to the judge in the courtroom, making everyone lean in just a bit closer, ready for the drama that's about to unfold. You won't believe what's coming next.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Brooks versus Page.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Brooks, you state that after getting out of a 9-year relationship, you met and fell in love with Mr. Page, a younger man who you say swept you off your feet. You claim both you and Mr. Page plan to have a child together, but since giving birth to your son, Ivion...
Mr. Page throws a curveball with his paternity doubts, spicing up the courtroom drama. Mr. Page expresses his doubts about being Ivon's father, accusing Ms. Brooks of having an affair with another man, Tony Wilson, whom he believes could be the father. He mentions social media posts that complicate his suspicions. Buckle up, because the evidence about to be revealed is as juicy as it gets.
Mr. Page, you state you know the child isn't yours because Ms. Brooks was having an ongoing affair with another man by the name of Tony Wilson.
Yes.
You say Mr. Wilson, who is also here today, claims to be the father of her son and has even posted pictures on social media to that effect. So, Ms. Brooks, describe the nature of your relationship with the defendant.
Right now, our relationship is on the rocks. We really have no relationship.
With everyone on the edge of their seats, the evidence is finally brought forward. Evidence is presented in court. Photos from Mr. Wilson's social media profile are shown, depicting him and Ms. Brooks in close proximity, which Mr. Page argues indicates more than just friendship. Get ready for the reaction shots. This courtroom is about to turn into a real-life soap opera.
That is just my friend. We take
Tell me if that looks, please tell me if that looks like a relationship or a friendship. There's no space in between the bodies, Your Honor. If they wanted to turn around and kiss, they could kiss.
We are just that close. Like,
so
that's how close
this is a picture of Mr. Wilson. This is his profile picture. And that's you, Ms. Brooks, and Mr. Wilson?
Yes, that's me and Mr. Wilson. Picture is just a picture.
As Mr. Wilson makes his entrance, the room's tension is palpable. The judge invites Mr. Wilson to the courtroom to give his testimony. Mr. Wilson describes his relationship with Ms. Brooks as purely platonic and insists he views Ivan as his godson, not his son. The twists keep coming, and what he says next might just tilt the scales.
You're when you have an argument?
Every time we argue, she tells me I'm not the father.
That's
this is
he's
more
not
1,
the father,
2,
Your
3
Honor.
times.
We live in the same.
I often have to tell young women this, and everybody's had an argument where they said something they regret or they shouldn't say, or say something to hurt someone, or just trying to make someone hurt as much as they've made them hurt. But when we say things like that, you can't unring that bell. Once you ring it,
It's wrong.
yes.
Mr. Wilson's revelation sends whispers around the room. Mr. Wilson admits to falsely claiming he was Ivan's father to make another woman jealous, revealing the complex interpersonal dynamics and the impact of social media rumors on the case. This bombshell will have you asking, what will they think of next?
He's laying there about to go to sleep.
Is that where you try to complete it the next level, get to the next level to play on your video games? That's when you do all this?
Are you serious right now?
A single parent in the home with somebody. Every time I ask him to do anything as far as Avion, and at the end of the day, my son doesn't have another side of the fence.
Have you told people, Mr. Wilson, that you're Ivion's?
Your Honor, yes. See, what happened was, it was this girl I was dealing with because she had an issue with Miss Brooks because her hair was long, fingernails, she has on press-ons. I was just making her be jealous.
As the DNA results are about to be revealed, everyone holds their breath. The DNA test results are revealed.
Mr. Wilson, you are not the father.
Told you.
Mr. Page, you are the father.
Told you. Since that I had to go through all of this just to prove that. All of this.
No sense that you with somebody who keep lying on you. That don't make no sense.
Kicking things off with a bang, Ms. Haysbert steps up to the plate, suing Mr. Howard for a paternity test for their bouncing baby boy, Ricardo Jr. She's all about getting some financial support, which she says has been non-existent. The judge tunes in, ready to unravel this messy yarn. Things are just heating up, folks.
Ms. Haysbert, you are suing the father of your 6-month-old son for a paternity test. You claim the defendant, Mr. Howard, has never financially supported baby Ricardo Jr. You also state that he once led you to believe that he wanted to marry you and even asked you to have his baby.
Hold on to your hats. Ms. Haysbert drops a bombshell that Mr. Howard has another child, just 2 weeks older than Ricardo Jr. The courtroom buzzes with whispers and gasps as she spills the beans on Mr. Howard's ghosting act once she was pregnant. Buckle up, this roller coaster is just getting started.
You say he abandoned you and has since fathered another baby who is only 2 weeks older than your child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Howard, you argue that Ms. Haysbert told you that Ricardo Jr. was not your son and therefore is not your responsibility. You are countersuing for $1,000 in damages.
You won't believe this backstory. From office buddies to more than friends, Ms. Haysbert outlines their evolution amidst laughter from the audience. The judge steps in, urging civility as she recounts their slide from professional to personal. Mr. Howard's side of the story is up next, and you bet it's juicy.
I met this clown at the Washington Redskins Stadium.
One second, let's use respectful language.
We were co-workers, and then after that, we became friends. It was to the point, like, when something was wrong, he came to me. We started having sex, and we got drunk. So, yeah, we got drunk and had sex, and that's how I conceived my son.
Drunk and had sex?
After that, like, I knew he had a girlfriend, and, you know, I didn't mind because we were just friends. Then it came to the point where he told me when she was pregnant, and she had a miscarriage.
Just when you thought it couldn't get crazier, Mr. Howard admits to his double daddy duties, but pleads a sort of adorable cluelessness about how it all happened. The crowd can't help but react to this sitcom-worthy confession. And yes, the plot thickens even more from here.
Did you get 2 girls pregnant at the same time?
Yes, I did, Your Honor, but I didn't mean to. I can really say, but at the same time, she did call me a clown. I want to respect your court, but she looking like one, like for real.
Let's be respectful.
I am being respectful, but she can't talk.
That's what you person are making commentary about is yourself, because you just admitted that you slept with her, so it was obviously something about you wanted this. So
Tensions hit a new high as Ms. Haysbert confronts Mr. Howard with alleged lovey-dovey texts that contradict his courtroom demeanor. She's not just throwing shade, she's throwing the whole tree. Watch as they dive into the nitty-gritty of love, lies, and baby supplies. Next up, the drama around a family heirloom takes center stage.
After he says that he would step up to the plate, you're saying he actually denied your son.
He did. He want to play around since he want to act like he my dad. Tell me something, let's go get Dana, let's go to the clinic to see who the baby is. He told me he loved me, he don't want to lose me.
You hand me that?
So, that he loved me. You used to always say till death do us part when he gave me that ring.
I didn't give you nothing, you stole it.
You stole it.
You was a liar. You was a liar up in this courtroom. Whatever, that's all you doing is lying.
The saga takes a turn into soap opera territory with the tale of the contested ring. Ms. Haysbert argues it was a symbol of Mr. Howard's commitment, while he claims it was Nick. They squabble over this sentimental piece, like it's the last slice of pizza at a party. The DNA results are on deck, and you won't want to miss it.
Mr. Howard, the ring that you are countersuing for the value of $1,000, your grandmother's ring, you say Ms. Haysbert pawned. Why the smirk?
Because I did. That's what I deal with.
What was your understanding? Was it your understanding that the ring was yours?
It said he wanted to marry me. So therefore,
give you nothing.
I pawned it. It was in my right to pawn it.
Drum roll, please. The DNA test results are in.
Mr. Howard, you are his father.
Death do us part, boo.
All right, I'm gonna
so
be a
it
man.
is what it is.
I'm gonna be a man.
You've learned your lesson, am I correct?
I did, yeah.
And you need to learn yours. Quit running around with your grandmother's ring, talking about who you love and who you don't love. Decide as a man who you love, commit to that woman, and develop a real relationship. Better from all three of you. Are we clear?
Yes, ma'am. The courtroom is charged with anticipation as Jerome, the court coordinator, calls the case to order. This sets the stage for a dramatic family and paternity dispute involving Frankie Lons, her daughter Elite Noel, and the potential fathers, Mr. Randolph and Mr. Robertson. The room is buzzing, and everyone's ready for the drama to unfold in the case of Lons versus Randolph Robertson.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello?
This is the case of Lons versus Randolph Robertson.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Lons, you claim that while filming your popular reality TV show, a DNA test determined that the man you believe was your daughter Elite's father was not.
Judge Lake kicks things off with a warm but serious greeting. She quickly gets down to business, outlining the sticky situation that unfolded on national television. Frankie Lons, amid filming her popular reality show, found out through a DNA test that the man she thought was her daughter Elite's father was, in fact, not. The plot thickens as suspicions about Mr. Randolph, Elite's uncle, come to light. Grab your popcorn, because this is just the beginning.
Mr. Randolph may be her biological father. Noel, you state, it was devastating to find out that the man you believed was your dad was not, and you now believe that his brother is your father. Mr. Randolph, you claim that even though both you and your brother had a sexual relationship with Ms. Lons, you do not believe you are her biological father either.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Frankie Lons takes the stand, ready to bare her soul. She talks about her past, marked by struggles and recovery, and her commitment to finding the truth for the sake of her daughter's peace of mind. Her testimony is a mix of confession and determination, painting a picture of a woman who's been through the ringer but hasn't lost her spirit. Just when you think you've heard it all, Frankie adds another layer to her story.
Why is it so important to resolve these issues today?
Well, this happened like 30 years ago, and you know, my past has always haunted me no matter what. I'm a recovering drug addict and a lot of more other things. I don't hang on the streets, and I don't run amok with the gang members, have not been back to jail. I learned a lot from it. I could be dead for the things I used to do. I'm not gonna quit until my daughter and me put closure on who her father is.
Elite Noel shares her emotional turmoil, opening up about how the revelation shook her world and strained her relationship with her mother. Her account is heartfelt and raw, revealing the deep scars left by family secrets and the weight of societal judgment. As she speaks, you can hear a pin drop in the courtroom. Everyone is hanging on her every word. And guess what? There's more drama around the corner.
How that affected you?
I mean, I felt as if I should have never had tried
to even take that step. I closed up with my mom. I also closed up with Vic, which is the guy that originally we, tested. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a bitter thing for me. I used to hide the story, you know what I mean? I didn't want anybody to, like I said, I didn't want to judge my mom, but I didn't want to be judged for it.
A curveball comes flying in when Mr. Randolph expresses shock about the paternity doubts aired on the reality show. He claims he was out of the loop, sparking a flurry of whispers and side-eyes in the courtroom. This revelation spins the case into new territory, with miscommunications and missed connections, adding to the confusion. Keep watching, because this tangle is about to get even knottier.
And that you could.
No.
You never were made aware of that.
No, until some people called me from around the country and said, Frankie said on national television that their uncle could be her father.
At that point, did you reach out to Ms. Lons? Did you reach out to Ms. Noel?
Why didn't you contact me?
Hold on, let's talk one at a time.
I tried to reach Frankie, but was unsuccessful in doing so.
So you did try to reach out to Ms. Lons?
Elite dives into the story of her 18th birthday revelation, a day that brought more surprises than she bargained for. The man listed as her father on the birth certificate outright denied paternity, claiming a strict boys-only policy in his gene pool. Frankie, in her typical no-filter style, explains the mix-up with a hint of sarcasm and a shrug. The courtroom is on the edge of its seats as the layers of this family drama continue to unfold.
Did you ever see your birth certificate? Were you able to look at it and see who that person was?
Well, yeah. About 18 years old, my adopted mother felt that I was old enough. David Noel was the guy on my birth certificate. I had an address on him. I knocked on the door and I gave him the story, and he told me absolutely not. I only reproduce boys. I have 5 boys and I don't have girls.
Mr. Randolph takes a trip down memory lane, reminiscing about the wild days with his dance group and their popularity that attracted a slew of groupies, including Ms. Lons. His candid recount of their boogalooing and roboting days adds a lighter note to the proceedings, though the implications are anything but light. Fasten your seatbelts, because we're diving deeper into this soap opera.
I'm part of a dance group called the Black Resurgence, internationally known for boogaloo and robot and strut. Her sister, one of the members of our group, her other sister, another member of the group, her and my brother and their friend and I were involved in a relationship. But we had that situation, the group of us, with various sets of girls around the neighborhood.
Oh, say groupies.
As if this party needed more guests, Judge Lake calls in another potential father, Mr. Robertson, turning the courtroom into a full-blown reunion. The stakes are high, and the tension is thicker than a bowl of oatmeal, as another chapter in this paternity mystery is about to be read aloud. You won't want to miss what he has to say.
Have you ever heard about Mr. Robertson as a potential?
Never.
Ms. Lons has stood here and basically admitted her mistake. Never. This is what I've done. This is what I was doing. You have also said we were very sexually active. I don't understand how little people keep appearing and you don't ever say to yourself, this child be mine?
God bless your heart, darling. I wish nothing but the best for you.
The moment of truth arrives with the first DNA test result.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Randolph, you are not her father. I'm very sorry, Miss Noel.